Improvement Bill here. This year, I decided to build a new habit of bullet journaling. Now, at first, I didn't expect much, but after sticking to it for almost a year, I can safely say that it's changed my life drastically for the better. Today, I'm going to tell you why I decided to build this habit, exactly how it works, and also what benefits it can bring to you. Now, for the past 5 years, I used whiteboards to organize my life and keep note of what I had to do. And I didn't just use a giant whiteboard like most people do. I used these little wooden whiteboards that I would Velcro to the wall and occasionally pull off to write on. This system, as odd as it may seem, brought a lot of benefits into my life. See, you need some sort of system to organize your life and to serve as a mental compass to make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Without a compass like this, it's very easy to get distracted, very easy to forget about one's goals, and very easy to lose track of things. And this compass of mine made me into a much more productive person because every day I would wake up and everything that I needed to do for the day was right there in front of me on the wall. This allowed me to get a lot more done and eventually hit my goals. In fact, this entire channel was built from the ground up because of this. And I love this system so much to the point where when I started traveling, I would bring 6 of these little whiteboards with me everywhere I went. But over time, I started to realize that this wasn't that efficient, mainly because the boards took up so much space in my bag. And whenever I would move to a new location, a lot of the words that I had written down would get smudged because it was all written down using a erasable marker. But by pure chance, around Christmas time of last year, I came across a book called The Bullet Journal Method in a bookstore. I picked up the book and skimmed it, and that's when I realized that there was a far more efficient way of organizing my life. I realized that it was about time that I upgraded my compass. So I decided to build a new habit called bullet journaling, and here's how it works. First, I had to purchase a special type of journal. I'll include a link in the description box below for those of you that are interested. Now, unlike other journals, all of the pages in a bullet journal are blank with a page number at the bottom, but every page is filled with a grid of dots. You can use these dots however you'd like. You can draw boxes, lines, circles, triangles. The possibilities are endless. And that's my favorite aspect of bullet journaling because unlike most other organizational systems, which force you to organize things in a certain way, when you use a bullet journal, you can design it however you like to track whatever you like. So let me show you how I've designed my journal. Starting off, we have the table of contents, which is very straightforward. Every time I start a new section in my journal, I quickly jot down the page number along with the name of the section in the table of contents so that I can refer back to it in the future. That way I can quickly find whatever I'm looking for in a matter of seconds. After the table of contents is what I like to call the daily summary page for the month. In this case, it's January. Now, this is a page that I decided to add because it allows me to do 2 things. First, at the end of every day, I can sum up the day in a short sentence. I write down one big event that stood out or what I did for most of the day, and this allows me to look back months and even years and get an idea of what I was doing at that time. It's a fun way to record my memories. I also use this page to track my habits. I've been taking note of all the times I go to the gym, and I can observe if I'm sticking to this habit more or less as compared to the month before. And this allows me to make sure that I'm going in the right direction. For example, my current goal is to work out for at least 12 times every month. If I end one month having only worked out 8 times, I'll realize that there's a problem and I can sit back and analyze what happened and make an adjustment to make sure that I'm more consistent next month. I create a monthly summary page like this at the beginning of every new month. After the monthly summary page is the project page. This is something that I actually used to do on my whiteboards. I draw out these boxes to organize all of the video projects that I have coming up for the channel. I write the title of the video at the top, and then I lay out all the components of things that I need to do in order to complete the entire project. First comes the idea for the video, then the script, then recording the audio and editing the audio. After that, it's the animation, the thumbnail, editing the entire thing once more, and finally, the launch of the video itself with the deadline that I've assigned for the entire project. This allows me to see where I'm at with all the projects I have going on for the month. You can use this page for your own projects just to keep track of all the things that need to be done in order to go from start to finish. After the project page is the section that takes up the bulk of my bullet journal. It's what I like to call the daily sections. Basically, I split every page in two and add the date at the top of each section, and then I use this space to track all of the to-dos I have for the day. I use a simple system of stars and dots. Stars are for extremely important things that have to be done that day. Things like working on my next video, important calls, and even certain errands. If the task itself is rather large, such as a video project, I will break down the steps underneath the star to show the mini steps I need to take in order to accomplish this task for the day. Now, this is extremely important because when you break down a big task, such as creating a new video, into tiny parts, such as simply coming up with an idea or creating an outline, you will be able to prevent procrastination. Because if you chunk a big task into tiny steps, it becomes much less intimidating. For example, as I'm working on this video, the star that I have in my bullet journal for this project just says bullet journal. And under that, I have a dot that just says draft. Because that's all I have to do today. I just need to write out the first draft for the video. I use dots for small tasks on the right-hand side for things that are not urgent. These are often things that I can push to the next day, like having to call my bank or responding to a message, things like that. I'll usually push these tasks to the next day and the next day and so on until I finally get around to doing it, at which point I'll cross it out. The same thing goes for my starred tasks. Whenever I finish one of the dots under a star, I'll cross it out. And once I do all of the dots, I'll cross out the star itself. This is the same system I used back when I had whiteboards, and there's a certain degree of satisfaction that I get whenever I cross something out, which is good because it makes the habit itself more rewarding. It's also important to note that I don't write a lot for each of the tasks. Most of the time, I'll just write 1 to 3 words for every task, which is just enough information for me to know exactly what I'm talking about. And I found this to be extremely effective because it makes using the journal even easier than it already is. My philosophy when it comes to building habits is to make it as easy as possible to do. That way, you'll never dread having to do it. And finally, I'll write the stars and dots for the next day whenever I remember that I need to do something for that day. So when it comes to video projects, I usually just write the star again with a new dot under it to signify the next step in the process, but also randomly throughout the day, I'll realize that I have to get something done the next day and I'll make note of it there. Now that we're about halfway done with the video, I'd like to quickly thank the sponsors who make all of this animation possible. This episode was brought to you with the help of the guys at Lingoda. What if I told you that you could fine-tune your English, Spanish, German, or French skills in a matter of months and get a 100% refund on what it would cost? Well, at Lingoda, this is actually possible. All you have to do is sign up for the Lingoda Language Sprint and deposit $55 using the link in the description box below and pick a language to learn. If you show up to class every day for 3 months, you will get a full refund, 100% of your money back. This challenge starts on September 23rd, 2020. If you attend 30 classes a month, you will get 100% of your money back. If you attend at least 15 classes a month, you will get 50% of your money back. And it doesn't matter if you are a complete beginner at an intermediate or advanced level of learning, because at Lingoda, you will be able to find appropriate courses for your level no matter what. My experience at Lingoda so far has been great. The classes are very personal and small. You are assigned a teacher to work with that personally guides you through each lesson, and the average class size is only 3 or 4 people, which makes the lessons even more effective. You can use coupon code SCHOOL40 to get an additional $11 off the deposit to join, and the deadline to sign up for the Lingoda Language Sprint Challenge is September 8th. So if you want to learn a language for what could be potentially free and also help our channel out, make sure you act fast and sign up now. Alright, now back to the topic at hand. At the end of every month after the daily section, I have a special page that I like to call the monthly analysis page. Basically, I go back to my daily summary page and look at all the things that I've done and accomplished for the month. Then I think about the 4 areas of my life, which are my health, my wealth, my relationships, and my overall happiness. And I write a short little summary for each of these 4 areas. I make notes of any changes or obstacles that have come up, and I try to see if there are any adjustments I need to make next month to improve this area of my life. For example, a couple of months ago, I saw that I was gaining too much weight from eating takeout all of the time because of the lockdowns. So in my monthly analysis page, I made note of this and I decided to start cooking more at home. I also noticed that my relationship with my girlfriend has been pretty good, but I realized that I haven't been taking her out as much as I used to. So I made note of the fact that I should plan at least 2 or 3 dates for the next month. If I'm doing well in a certain area and there isn't any adjustment that needs to be made, I'll just write that I did a good job and pat myself on the back. And the reason I have this page in general is because it allows me to double check my compass every month to make sure that I'm going in the right direction. And finally, we have the miscellaneous pages. Whenever I need a page to track or record something that's unrelated to all of the other stuff that we've covered so far, I will create a new page starting from the back of the book. Now, I don't really have a system for most of these pages. I kind of just make it up as I go. For example, whenever I'm reading a new book, I will create a book summary page for that book and jot down all of the valuable points that I come across. I have another page that I've dedicated to tracking my investment portfolio. Every month, I update it to show where my current wealth is being allocated and also how much my investments are currently worth. And I even have another page that I use to track video ideas that I come across. Sometimes there are good suggestions in the comments, or sometimes I'll have an interesting conversation with someone, or sometimes I'll just be in the shower and an idea comes to me. When that happens, I'll quickly run to my bullet journal and jot it down on my video idea page. As you can see, the sky's the limit. You can create whatever page you want for whatever thing you want to track, and it will always be there in your journal. Now, the reason why bullet journaling is such a powerful habit to build is because it serves as an extremely effective physical reminder. See, unlike other organizational apps such as Notion, Trello, or Evernote, which all reside on a device that you have to turn on to see, a bullet journal is always physically there, constantly reminding you about what you have to do. I personally keep my bullet journal next to my computer every single day with the book open, which means that whenever I use my computer, I am constantly being reminded about what I should focus on. This allows me to stay on track and get the most important things done. Back when I tried using apps to record my to-dos, I would often forget to check them, and I was never able to get them to stick. On the other hand, physically writing and crossing things out with a pen gives me a special sense of satisfaction that has actually made this habit very enjoyable, which has allowed me to build it almost effortlessly. On top of that, this system also serves as a sort of Swiss Army knife, allowing you to record your thoughts, your finances, what you've been doing every day, and much, much more. Honestly, you can do whatever you want when you have a bullet journal. So for those of you that don't have some sort of organizational system or have been trying to use an app but haven't really had much success, then I highly suggest you try bullet journaling out because it really has made a huge difference for me this year. I get a lot more done nowadays and I never worry about forgetting things because everything is in my journal. If any of you want help building habits or with self-improvement in general, check out my free mini course in the description box below. You can get it by signing up to my newsletter, and you'll also be notified whenever I decide to run the next Habit Builder Challenge. I hope you found this video helpful, and besides that, guys, stay tuned.